Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're jumping right into a topic that honestly affects absolutely anyone who shares a life and a bank account with someone else. We're talking about why full financial transparency is absolutely crucial. But look, we aren't going to just sit here and look at dry statistics or generic financial advice today. Instead, we're going to explore a pretty dark, real-life cautionary tale. It perfectly captures the psychological complexities of money, marriage, and the secrets we end up keeping from the people we literally love the most. So this is really a story about relationship dynamics, the blind spots we willingly create for ourselves, and the catastrophic impact of living a hidden financial life.
Okay, let's dive into this. $340,000. Just imagine sitting alone at your kitchen table, grieving the incredibly recent loss of your spouse. You've been married for a decade. You think you know every single detail about your household finances, right? Every bill, every account, every dollar that moves in and out of your home. And then you open a letter from a bank you've literally never used. It's a statement for an account you never even knew existed, addressed to your late wife. And sitting right there in black and white is a staggering balance of $340,000. This isn't a hypothetical, by the way. This is exactly what happened to a husband named David right after his wife Sarah's funeral.
Section 1. The illusion of transparency. When spreadsheets hide the truth. And this brilliantly illustrates the massive contrast between their perceived reality and actual reality. See, during their seemingly perfect 10-year marriage, David saw exactly what Sarah wanted him to see. Sarah handled the finances because, well, she was just great with numbers and spreadsheets, and frankly, David was super relieved to hand that whole responsibility off. Every single year, they'd sit down together, pull up the laptop, and look at the numbers. She'd walk him through the whole shebang. The retirement savings, the mortgage payments, the emergency fund, it all looked completely transparent and totally normal. But hidden beneath that illusion of transparency was a completely different reality. A separate bank, a separate hidden account, and over a decade of secret money transfers. Those yearly meetings, they were just a carefully crafted illusion.
Which brings us to this chilling realization that David later shared. He said, "I never once thought to ask what I wasn't being shown." I really want you to think about that for a second. David didn't have any reason to be suspicious. He trusted his partner completely. But his immense relief in just handing off that financial burden, it created a massive, decade-long blind spot. He was looking exactly where she pointed, which meant he completely failed to look at what was just outside the frame. It totally highlights the absolute danger of partial transparency. Just because someone is showing you a highly detailed spreadsheet doesn't mean they're actually showing you the whole truth.
Section 2. The $340,000 discovery. Unraveling a decade of secrets.
So picture David sitting there with this letter after closing her known accounts. He discovers statements going back over a decade for this huge hidden sum, money he had never seen, never factored into their budget, never even knew existed. And obviously the immediate question screaming in his mind was, where was the money going? At first, human nature kind of takes over, right? David hoped it was just a mistake, or maybe, just maybe, it was a beautiful surprise. He genuinely thought perhaps Sarah had been secretly saving for their young daughter's future, like a wonderful gift she tragically never got to reveal. But then, he logged in and checked the actual transfer history.
And wow, this wasn't just some brief lapse in judgment. This hidden account was opened 3 full years before David and Sarah even got married. And throughout their entire 10-year marriage, there were consistent monthly transfers. So here's the heartbreaking revelation that came post-funeral. Those transfers weren't going into savings for their daughter. They were going out, every month, for years. The money was being secretly funneled to Sarah's older brother, Tom, a man David had met maybe 4 times in his entire life, and someone Sarah always claimed they weren't even close to. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is how it redefines what we typically think of as financial betrayal. Usually, we picture hidden credit card debt from massive shopping sprees, or someone embezzling money out of pure personal greed. But in this case, Sarah didn't lie to protect herself. She lied to protect her brother. See, Tom had a severe gambling addiction, and Sarah had been quietly covering his losses since before she even met David, and she just never stopped. She kept funding this addiction even after she and David had a daughter. She even kept funding it after she and David sat down and agreed together that they couldn't afford to buy a bigger house. She literally sacrificed her own family's financial goals and future to silently enable her brother.
Section 3. The cost of secrets, grief, and betrayal in the same room.
To finally get to the truth, David arranged a meeting with Tom at a local diner. It was a very tense, very quiet reckoning. Tom admitted that Sarah never forced him to keep the secret. No, she actively chose to keep it from David, every single year, right at their own kitchen table, while David trusted every number she showed him. And that realization leads to an incredibly profound truth. Grief and betrayal don't cancel each other out. They just sit in the same room together.
Just take a moment to let the emotional weight of that anchor in. David is mourning the tragic loss of the woman he loved. At the exact same time, he is completely shattered by the realization that she was capable of building a complex, secondary financial life that he never ever saw. Both of those realities are entirely true at the exact same time.
Which brings us to the core thesis of this entire explainer. Love does not equal full financial transparency. It is a super common but very dangerous misconception to think that just because you trust your partner deeply or because you love them unconditionally, you don't need to verify the finances. You absolutely can have deep, genuine, profound love in your relationship while still demanding absolute, undeniable financial truth. Trusting your partner's heart does not mean you shouldn't verify the bank statements. Section 4. Why full transparency matters, decoupling love from financial truth. Let's move to and see how this builds from David's specific tragedy into a vital, universal lesson for absolutely anyone managing joint household finances.
So here are the clear, actionable directives you really need to take away from this explainer. Step 1. Ask to see every account. Step 2. Look at them every year. And step 3. Do it together. If there's one thing you learned from David's story today, let it be this. Asking for receipts, asking to log into the bank portals, asking to actually see the raw data rather than just a highly curated spreadsheet, that is not a sign of distrust at all. It is a necessary, healthy boundary in a modern partnership. It is exactly how you protect yourself and your family.
So, the crucial point is how we actually apply this moving forward. Today, David uses a simple shared budgeting app with his young daughter. He ensures their finances are completely visible to each other, even though she is still really young. And look, he's not doing this because he doesn't trust his own child. He's doing it to teach her a vital generational lesson. He wants to ensure that neither of them will ever again inherit a massive hidden burden. The whole goal is to build a culture of absolute financial visibility within the household, a place where secrets simply cannot survive in the dark.
We'll end our explainer today with this final, truly haunting thought directly from David's experience. Some debts aren't measured in dollars, but some secrets are, and by the time you find them, the person who could explain them is already gone. I want you to really look at your own financial life today. Are you just settling for the illusion of transparency, or do you actually have the full picture? Please, don't wait until it's too late to ask what you aren't being shown. Thank you so much for joining me for this explainer, and I highly encourage you to go have that completely transparent financial conversation with your partner today.